Ever wondered where it all began? Not your grandparents' story, not even the story of ancient kings and queens, but the very first chapter of the human story. It's a tale that stretches back millions of years, long before cities, writing, or even farming. Welcome to the dawn of humanity, the Paleolithic Age, or as you might know it, the Old Stone Age. Our journey starts today in a world so ancient it's almost unimaginable, a time when our ancestors were just beginning to shape their destiny one stone at a time. This immense period, the Paleolithic, is so vast that we have to break it down. We'll begin with the earliest part, the Lower Paleolithic, which kicked off an astonishing 3.3 million years ago and lasted until about 300,000 years ago. To put that into perspective, if the entire history of Earth were a 24-hour day, the Lower Paleolithic alone would be a significant chunk of the last minute. This wasn't the age of sapiens like us, but of our earlier, rugged relatives, the original pioneers. They weren't building empires. They were just trying to survive, and in doing so, they laid the groundwork for everything that followed. It was the age of the hunter-gatherer, a time of constant movement, incredible challenges, and groundbreaking innovations that literally shaped the world. So, what was the first big breakthrough? What's the earliest evidence we have of our ancestors thinking, creating, and solving problems? The answer is tools. Not complex machinery, but simple, effective stone tools. For a long time, we thought the first tools are made about 2.6 million years ago. But a game-changing discovery in Lomekvi, Kenya, pushed that date back by a staggering 700,000 years to 3.3 million years ago. What's truly mind-blowing is that these tools are so old. They predate the appearance of our own genus, Homo. This means that some earlier hominins, our distant evolutionary cousins, were already intelligent enough to look at a rock and see a tool. They were deliberately striking one stone against another to create sharp flakes, perfect for cutting meat off a bone or smashing open nuts. This wasn't just banging rocks together. It was intentional, planned, and a massive cognitive leap. It was the first spark of technology, the moment our ancestors started to actively change their environment to suit their needs, rather than just being shaped by it. As the millennia rolled on, a new player entered the scene around 2 million years ago, Homo erectus, which means upright man. And this species was a true game-changer. While earlier hominins were mostly confined to Africa, Homo erectus had a restless spirit. They were the first of our ancestors to venture out of the African continent, embarking on an epic migration that took them all across Eurasia, from the Caucasus Mountains to the islands of Indonesia. Imagine that journey with no maps, no roads, just following the herds, the seasons, and their own curiosity. They were taller, had larger brains than their predecessors, and were incredibly adaptable. Their ability to survive in diverse new environments, from tropical forests to colder northern plains, was a testament to their growing intelligence and resilience. Homo erectus wasn't just surviving. They were thriving and expanding the human world like never before. Their toolkit was also a major upgrade. We call it the Acheulean industry, and its signature tool is the hand axe. Unlike the simple flakes from Lomekvi, these were sophisticated, multi-purpose implements. Picture a teardrop-shaped stone carefully worked on both sides to create a sharp, symmetrical edge. It was the Swiss Army knife of the Paleolithic. You could use it to butcher an animal, dig for roots, strip bark from trees, or even as a projectile. Creating a hand axe required a multi-step process and a clear mental template of the final product. It shows a significant leap in cognitive abilities, planning, foresight, and a sense of aesthetics, even. For over 1 million years, the hand axe was the dominant technology on the planet, a testament to the ingenuity of Homo erectus. But perhaps the most revolutionary innovation of this era wasn't made of stone. It was something intangible, powerful, and transformative, the control of fire. The evidence for the earliest controlled use of fire is debated, with some sites suggesting it could be as old as 1.8 million years ago, but by about 400,000 years ago, it was definitely part of the hominin toolkit. And fire changed everything. First, cooking. Cooking food makes it easier to digest and unlocks more nutrients, which could have fueled the development of our energy-hungry brains. It also killed parasites and bacteria, making food safer. But the impact of fire went far beyond the stomach. It provided warmth, allowing our ancestors to survive in colder climates and expand their range even further. It offered protection, keeping dangerous predators at bay during the dark nights. And just as importantly, fire created a social hub. Imagine a small group of Homo erectus huddled around a crackling campfire after a long day. The fire provides light, extending the usable hours of the day. It becomes a focal point for the community, a place to share food, mend tools, and perhaps even communicate through rudimentary language. The hearth became the first living room. It fostered social bonds, cooperation, and the sharing of knowledge from one generation to the next. The control of fire wasn't just a technological achievement. It was a profound social and cultural revolution that fundamentally altered the course of human evolution. It tamed the night, warmed the cold, and brought our ancestors closer together, forging the social connections that are still at the core of our humanity today. This simple act of harnessing a natural force set the stage for even greater things to come. So let's recap the Lower Paleolithic. We have the first whispers of technology with the Longqian tools 3.3 million years ago. Then comes the rise of the great explorer Homo erectus, who, armed with their versatile hand axes, stirred out of Africa and populated vast new territories. And finally, the taming of fire, a discovery that warmed their bodies, fueled their brains, and ignited the spark of community. This wasn't a fast-paced world of constant change as we know it. The hand axe, for instance, remained stylistically similar for over 1 million years. But don't mistake that for stagnation. This was a period of fundamental, earth-shattering firsts. These weren't just ape-like creatures stumbling through the savannah. They were intelligent, adaptable, and innovative beings who were actively problem-solving and shaping their own destiny. They were our ancestors, and the legacy of their struggles and triumphs is written in our very DNA. They took the first crucial steps on the long road to becoming human, and that's just the first part of the story. The world was about to get even more complex and fascinating. New species of humans would appear, their tools would become more refined, and the first signs of art and symbolic thought would begin to emerge. The next chapter is the Middle Paleolithic, the age of the Neanderthals. So make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on, because you won't want to miss where the human journey takes us next. Thanks for watching.